Welcome back. We've been talking about happiness for the past couple of days. Yesterday, I told you how you can elevate your happiness levels with 3 simple steps. 1 is laughter, 2 is exercise, and 3 is removing obstacles. And I told you that I would explain to you today how you can harness sadness to actually elevate your ability to be happy. Well, let's talk about that. I'm someone who feels sad frequently. Music makes me feel sad sometimes. I'll listen to music that was composed in a certain way that the movement of that music makes me feel sad. I sometimes cry when I see a certain commercial. Those of you who know me know that I cry all the time, and it's getting worse as I get older. I don't know what it is. But I live in my sadness when I'm sad. I don't want to be cheered up. I want to be sad. And here's what it does. It allows me to be sad for a finite amount of time. And once that sadness is lived through, I'm on the road to happiness. It's when that sadness is disrupted, when I try to cheer myself up to say, well, let me get out of this funk, or someone else tries to cheer me up. And I'm guilty of that all the time. I try to cheer people up all the time, and it always backfired. Always backfires. There's a lot of different types of sadness. We're going to talk about 2 today. The first one is loss. You've lost a loved one. You lost an event or something that you worked really hard for and you lost. That can create sadness. The problem is oftentimes we try to mask that sadness. We try to mask it with happiness. Or we tell people, no, I'm fine. No, it's okay. Oh, I'm over it. But are you? Maybe you are. What I would offer to you is that in a case of loss, rather than try to cover up your sadness, you dive into it. Now, again, know the room you're in. There's a time and a place for everything. But maybe cancel that thing you're supposed to go to because you're feeling sad. I know that's contrary. Most people say, well, get out of the house, go do something that cheers you up. I'm saying you might not need to be cheered up. And that's how you can increase your happiness. Allow that primary emotion to run its course. And you can be happy about that. You can be happy that you, as a human being, have a depth of emotions. Like a singer who has an incredible range. You don't just have to be happy all the time. You get to be sad. But you get to be sad on your terms. Turn your phone off. Close the door. Watch that movie that makes you even sadder. Whatever it is, lean into your sadness to eventually find your happiness. But then there's the other type of sadness. And this is the one I really want to talk to you about. This is self-imposed sadness. Sadness that comes from your own habits and your own patterns, but you're not breaking them, and so you continue to spiral down into sadness and anxiety. I'll give you a perfect example. I recently had a birthday, and a couple of days before my birthday, I was really grumpy. I had a short temper. I was just not fun to be around. And the day before my birthday, I look at my wife and I told her, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I don't know why I'm being so grumpy right now. You know, I guess I'm not happy about my birthday tomorrow. And she looked me dead in the eye and she said, Jason, you do this every year. And every year before your birthday, you get really grumpy. And I said, you're right. I do. And I hadn't realized it to that moment. You see, it's easy to see patterns in other people. It's easy to see other people's habits and say, oh, I see the path you're going down. But it's very difficult sometimes to see it in ourselves. So I had a pattern that was making me sad. All that was happening was Sunday was turning into Monday. That's it. But in my head, I created this belief that I was one step closer to the end. You see, I was closer to the end than I was to the beginning. There, I had thought of all the things I hadn't done, all the places I hadn't been. I created this narrative that by this point in my life, this is where I should have been, but I'm not. And that allowed me to dwell in the darkness. But you see, you have an opportunity. When you are surrounded by darkness, You have two choices. You can dwell in that darkness, or you can search for the light. Searching for the light is active. Dwelling on darkness is resignation. I had resigned. I resigned myself to, I'm sad about getting older. I decided to stop doing that. Now we'll see what happens next year, but on my birthday, I was quite happy. So you need to look into your patterns. When are you getting sad? Are you getting sad because you commute 2 hours to work and 2 hours from work? Can you break that habit? Now, that might require you to make some serious changes in life, but you can make those changes. Are you sad because of where you live? Are you sad because of who you live with? What are the things within your power to change? Because if you can confront that, if you can face that, if you can find that pattern, you can break that pattern, and that leads to your happiness. That's self-imposed sadness. It doesn't have to be there. It's not loss. It's circumstance. But what I would propose to you is that more often than not, we have complete power over our circumstance when we are adults, when we are of sound mind and body. So take a look at them. Take a look at those circumstances that are creating some sadness and anxiety. Once you identify it, that's the first step. And if you need help moving past that, let me know. Shoot me a message. I'm happy to have a call. I'm happy to talk to you about it. Tomorrow, we're going to wind up our talk on happiness. And we're going to look at why some things that made you happy 10, 15 years ago don't seem to make you happy anymore. And how things that you couldn't stand 10, 15 years ago, you absolutely love. Why is that? Well, we're going to look at that tomorrow when we wrap up happiness. As always, if this was useful, please let me know. Leave a comment, ask a question, like it, share it, tell your friends, sign up for my newsletter. And until we meet again, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.